Right, we'll be back from the break. You're still watching Smart 24. This is Smart Means Business, and of course, I'm still with the two gentlemen, Andrew Bariti and Pedersen Mubere. All right, now we're taking back to President Museveni's 3-day visit to Algeria. On Saturday, the president went to Algeria and met the Algerian president, and of course, there are discussions there. And obviously, during such visits, we expect some deals to be signed.
Of course.
And I want to assume it is time for Ugandans to be very happy with such visits, because just a week ago, President Museveni was in South Africa. Now he's in Algeria. I don't know whether he's looking for market for our products or anything. Pedersen, by the look of things here, inside President Museveni's Algeria trip, who is in, who is out?
We are the biggest beneficiary of this visit. I don't know how people are going to interpret this. This is not time for politics. We are speaking the truth. We had issues with Kenya, and we've been having trade conflicts between the two countries. That's Uganda and Kenya. And I have done stories about that. Now, recently, again, Kenya banned our milk from Uganda to Kenya. Now, President Museveni went to Algeria and negotiated again for this business. So that we should be, since Kenya, we always get problems with Kenya. If we get another market from Algeria, if we get market for our milk coming from Nigeria, it's us scoring. True, false?
Of course, it's
we are
true.
Scoring. Yeah, we are scoring.
That is true.
So they did not only discuss only milk and other things. There are also some memorandum of understandings, understanding that were done in Algeria between the two countries. Remember, in the area of tourism, agriculture, oil and gas, very many things. Yeah, that's a bigger market that Museveni did there. Now, in a nutshell, I want to think that it's Uganda that is going to benefit more out of this visit. So the more you open market for products produced here, the more we grow in as far as GDP is concerned. You get the point? So I think Museveni's visit is a blessing in as far as trade is concerned.
Yes. But you know, I have this other aspect. You know, it's not the first time we are being banned. Our milk is being banned from Kenya, right? Yeah.
Not only milk.
Actually, even it's poultry, poultry,
maize flour, maize grain. Yeah.
You know. Now, okay, it all comes back to this aspect. Can we really ask ourselves why? Because I believe, you know, there is, you know, it's easy to open a door, but sustaining the opportunities in that door is something also else.
Yeah.
You know, because the Kenyan door was open for us for some time, and the time reached, and probably, because I believe it was all coming back to the aspect of quality. The quality delivered. And when I talk about quality, hold on a bit, it's not about, it may be okay, everything is there, but there is that aspect of being organic, whereby it has to be entirely natural. You know, most of these countries, actually, which have gone, most of the preservative-related products are still being consumed by some poor, you know, like developing countries, like Uganda, like at our level. So in most cases now we get so used to that, and even when we are producing, maybe we think this is what is really required, but outside our country, people want things that are organic. So I would also get back to the quality of milk. Has it really been up to the standard? Anyway, in like according to your observations in there.
Sometimes Kenyans also have their own reasons. They are also producing the same product. You get it? So they're also looking for their domestic market of their milk that is produced in Kenya. So they have a reason.
Yes.
You get it?
But I think it's beyond that.
It comes to quality. Remember our maize. The way we harvest, the post-harvesting process of some of the Ugandan farmers is not that good. So you find that most of our maize is having aflatoxins.
Yeah, and that was the issue addressed.
Yes, there's an issue of aflatoxins. Of course, there's also some issue of politics, but let us put that aside. Let us now talk to quality. I'm talking about their domestic market also. also. Because if we bring milk to Kenya, if we take it to Kenya, when they are also producing the same, then that means their market for their own produced milk will not go that high. You get, so there will be a competition. Yes, there will be a competition. So there are some reasons as to why they are doing that. But what am I saying? We shouldn't also always venture on Kenya, always Kenya. What President Museveni is doing is good. We should open up much more markets. Go to Southern Sudan.
Yeah.
Go to Democratic Republic of Congo.
Even Zambia was one of the markets which
you get,
Zambia was
so when you get problems there, another market is opened there. So going to Algeria, negotiating with it, because he did not talk about only milk, like I said. MOUs were done different departments. Tourism, agriculture, what very many things. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't bring the market that we have lost, bring it back. There should be reason, or a couple of officials should also go again to Kenya and negotiate with them. Where should we improve? Where is the problem? You get it? Because we need each other.
Yeah, we do.
Africa, we need each other. Yes. So if they go there and they negotiate, say, Uganda, you have this problem. Try to improve here. Make sure this is done, and we also get to know. Then market will be there for all this. So we shouldn't always say Kenya yaganye, then Tubireke. No. I'm very sure even our Minister of Trade, the Minister of Trade, the official from Minister of Trade, are going to visit Kenya and find out where the problem is. Usually we knew that our problem always was aflatoxins. I think we are improving on that.
Working on it.
So we also want to know what's the problem with milk. If the problem is theirs, they're also producing the same, then we will see how we should negotiate and see. Because we are also consuming their products from Kenya to here. Not that we don't produce them here.
Yeah.
We produce them here, but we also allow them their products to come here to our country. So there should always be a discussion between the two countries.
Okay. And well, obviously, by the look of things here, is that we have to look at the quality, like you mentioned, because quality
is very
is the drive of the consistency, and then also the quantity of how much we shall be, because the market may be open, willing to accept this particular quantity. Are we able to sustain that quantity that they need? Because sometimes the numbers clearly will show the demand, because with time to time, if our quality is enough, you'll realize the market will actually grow. That means there will be demand for more.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to believe we have the capability, for example, the capacity of producing the liters of milk to provide to the Algerian market. That is for the powdered milk and processed milk, all of that. Then what I will always get back to is maybe the issue to do with the quality that you mentioned, because that is where we shall be beaten seriously if we fail to cope up.
And okay, maybe you want to say something.
That will be the issue of quality. We should actually put a lot of emphasis there. Let me talk about the maize. I happen to have moved you know me, I'm a villager. I normally move to my village in the west. I see how people harvest their maize and how they dry it on the ground. They try to put it, how do you call this in English? Tundubali. This Tundubali is called I don't know. They put them on that thing. But you find that even our maize are on the ground. You see chicken, ducks moving around.
Very true.
You can imagine.
To them, storage is not something they put a lot
you can
of
imagine,
emphasis on.
And that's the problem.
And they're dropping their waste on
They are droplets.
And hygiene.
The hygiene is not just fine. So that's the problem. That's the biggest problem. Post-harvesting process should always put a lot of effort on the post-harvest process. How do you harvest your things? What is the hygiene over there? So I realized, now that's the problem. That's where the problem.
Post-harvest.
So quality is very important. Quality is very important. And how often are you going to supply? Let's say we have got to market, say in Nigeria. We're going to start supplying them with avocados. How are we going to sustain that?
That capacity.
Are we going to sustain it? Even the quality, the quantity. If they want how many sacks of avocados, are we in position to supply it? These are the things we should always talk about. We should not always go there, discuss and use what. No, these are also other things we should also. And Minister of Trade, I think, is thinking about that around there.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, your final take on this?
Well, my final take on this, coming back to the aspect of sustainability, that this door has been open for us, and how best are we going to really keep it fun. I would really urge the government to work hand in hand with the private sector, because we know that some of the products, the output that is being put there, biggest percentage is really put out by the private sector, and the challenge that some of it has been really, seeing surplus, and because the domestic market can't really sustain this. And some people don't have the money to really buy it, and so that means I would urge the government to empower the private sector, to be a part of this, because now we're talking about manufacturing, export, all this, and we need the private players to really be on top of their game, because talking about the current taxation system in the country, we find that some are almost running out of business, because I believe it's like there is no way I can go to you, Joram, and I tell you, tomorrow I want to, okay, let me say, I've promised to give you something, That means by the time I come to you, I need to have first prepared ground for that thing I'm telling you that I'm going to give you. I need to lay a firm ground so that I come and speak to you with confidence. Because it will be very absurd. I come and I speak to you here, and before you know it, 2 weeks, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yet I came promising, because I just told you, then I came started to fidget. So I don't know how really this is going to be done. I believe, because the private sector, I believe, is that ground, any country. Because look at most of the powerful economies, private sector contributes a very big percentage. Because lately, it's not like back in the days when we had the Soviet wars over communism and capitalism. We now have free economies, and now economies are largely dominated by private sector players. So that means in Uganda we also need the same, because we know with government-related agencies, they never really care much about output, because they are sure that returns budgets are going to be allocated for them. But private sector firms, they know that our survival is dependent on how we work. So with that, quality and quantity will be ensured. That's just my opinion. So I would urge government to really stand firm with the private sector, and also making sure that we increase more players in the private sector, because we have quite so many what we call small scale and intermediaries. How best can they be empowered to be a part of these, to gain that stability, that they can actually deliver that quality that can be consumed on the international market. Just my opinion towards the government.
But I think we shouldn't also stop there. We shouldn't stop at only Algeria. You see,
yes,
Algeria, those countries, these are desert countries.
Desert.
Tunisia, Algeria, those South African countries. I don't know whether
they're desert.
If we can export their agricultural products, we put our beef, we put poultry, milk. Then Museveni should also go to Tunisia. Visit them. Those guys don't have natural things.
They don't.
Here we produce natural things, only that we are being affected by GMOs, which are coming in, genetically modified. But still have our own indigenous foods that are produced here. I was following President Museveni's speech when he was in the US. He says, these people from US here, when I came here, you brought for me pineapple. It was not. I just
the most unfresh pineapple he has ever tasted.
And he said, I have abstained from your pineapple. I will eat my pineapple when I reach it.
It was a huge stone.
You get. So if we be giving them our
indigenous, and they have a feeling of how it feels like it is.
We will get market. We will get market. That I'm very sure.
All right. And well, besides that particular one, it's a 3-day visit that is likely to end tomorrow in Algeria. President Museveni's visit in there. And now we're going to SMB on ground discussions. The Uganda Revenue Authority recently reported the deficit of tax agents as an issue that has to be resolved through equipping more skills to those in the accountancy profession. Now, the Institute of Certified Accountants of Uganda, that is the CPA, held its 13th graduation ceremony with over 998 graduates. This derived from examination of groups and covered the period between December 2020 and December 2022. The graduate